So everyone wants to be booked and busy within our industry. But what if I told you that most tech pros are making the same 5 mistakes that quietly sabotage their success? You can have the best camera, the cleanest audio, the flashiest lights, but if you miss these fundamentals, your gear won't save you. And trust me, the one percenters, they know it. But see, they've mastered more than just the tech, they've mastered how to show up. In today's episode, I'm breaking down the 5 most common mistakes that keep most of us techs and content creators stuck in one particular gear, and that's average. So whether you're just getting started, whether you've been in the game for years, this is your chance to level up. Hopefully by the end of this episode, you will have gained insight, not just to work the gig, but to own the room. Let's get into it. How's it going, everybody? I am Demetrice Jones, a senior AV engineer, creative thinker, tech mentor, and your host for Let's Talk Tech, the podcast where tips, equipment, creativity, and health intersect to help you elevate your skill set, your mindset, and your life behind and beyond the scenes. All right, here's the truth. Most of us, I'm saying us because I'm included, think that success is about simply just mastering the gear. We obsess over specs, spend thousands chasing the newest camera body, and think the reason why we're not getting booked is because we don't own the latest cinema rig. You can't watch YouTube without wanting to build something or thinking that you're behind the curve. But the pros, they're the ones getting the callbacks, book solid, and trusted with six-figure setups, right? You see, they've learned to avoid these 5 critical mistakes that sabotage most people literally before they even hit record. Let's walk through them. The first one is big. So it's an old saying. Some of us know it, some don't. But if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Don't skip pre-production. Could you imagine showing up to a wedding, right? Let's say you're a photographer showing up to a wedding, but you didn't go to the dress rehearsal and you're outside and you don't know where the bride is going to come from. Oh, man, listen to me. Could you imagine walking into a room and you just look around and it's your job. They're paying you top dollar to perform. See, pre-production is where professionals separate from amateurs. You need a site survey, a power map, a crew schedule, backup cables, and the most important, a mental blueprint just in case chaos breaks out. You got it covered, right? So if anything, you have to plan, because don't let your talent get overshadowed by your lack of preparation. The client is paying you, or even if you're volunteering, you are there to provide a service that out of everybody else, they chose you. So the least that you can do is to prepare for every scenario, right? And then that leads me to number 2, which is pretty big. Look at the big picture. Understand your audience. So as a video editor, right, I always tell people the goal is to have the ending in mind before I begin. For me, it starts with music, sound effects. I make it a template from here or there, right? But the most important part that I have to remember is I have to understand my audience. See, I'm not just filming for me, I'm filming for them. Whether it's a corporate event, and the mindset is corporate events aren't concerts. Church conferences are not TED Talks. Knowing the tone is so important. Know the client goals. If you have the client goals in mind, not what you want as the finished product, but if you have the client goals in mind, it helps streamline everything for you. And if you don't have that particular aspect, know your viewer. That's how you go from pressing buttons to actually telling a story. Whenever I'm producing, I always pretend as if I'm not in the room, and I produce with the mindset, if I was sitting at home watching this, what would I want to see? Let's say somebody hired me to come and to do a DJ mix, right? So the DJ booth set up. I got the camera on him, but if I'm at home watching, I would love to see his hand movements. I would love to kind of go beyond the scene a little bit from that one shot. Audio is important, but I would love to see the environment. Like if it's a rooftop, I would love to see like a aerial from a drone shot, maybe, right? That's the kind of mindset that I have while producing. If it's a church event, what do I want to see, right? The next one is really big. Number 3, I promise you, I almost made it number 1, but I had to. I'm trying to tell a story, so, so I had to put it, in a particular order. But this is big. Don't buy, rent. I know. Don't buy it. I know. I know. I'm trying to save you thousands. Don't buy it. Rent. Here's the game changer. You don't need to own everything. In fact, the smartest producers rent. Why? Flexibility. If I get to a gig, right, and let's say I rent it from one of my local stores, I get there and the equipment isn't working. 9 times out of 10, that particular shop has 2 or 3 that I could easily go exchange and then keep it moving. The goal, right? If you're in business, if not, it's cool, right? But the goal is to scale based on the gig and to keep the overhead low and always, always have access to the best gear without the maintenance headache. Think about it. If my camera body went down, I have to take it to my local shop. There's a fee for them to look at it, right? If they can repair it, then they'll charge me right there. But if not, they got to ship it off to the manufacturer. That is 1, 2, and then for them to look at it, 3. It's 3 fees right there, right? Then I got to fix it. Then I got to pay for shipping to get back to not me, but the store that I dropped it off at. And then they call me and I got to leave my house and go. That's a lot. It is so much easier to just simply rent. And keep this in mind, spending $10,000 to impress the client never impress the client. If you want to impress the client, show up ready and always do this one particular thing and the client will always be happy. Number 4, dive into your settings. Study your equipment, whether it's yours or it's rented, but study the equipment. You're as good as what you understand. Think about that. Could you imagine you grab I'm a Sony A7 III owner. I have a couple of them, right? I have a couple bodies. But could you imagine you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out how to do something. You're buying more gear. Come to find out the camera could already do it. Reading the manual isn't optional. Watching tutorials, YouTube University isn't optional. Knowing your gear inside and out, it's how you troubleshoot quickly, right? And then be able to perform successfully under pressure. I'll give you a prime example. I'm at this prestigious 5-star hotel in Baltimore. Client calls, he has this idea. I said, cool, no problem, I got you. I make a phone call to the hotel trying to get, access to be able to shoot in that particular location. They wanted $1,000 deposit just to be able to shoot in that particular location. I called the client back. Hey, listen, Slim, we got to find somewhere else to shoot. He said, oh, hold on. I'll call you right back. Unknown to me, he knew the president of the hotel. So we get in. Everything's going good. To keep everything kind of streamlined, I knew there was going to be a guerrilla style, photo shoot. I couldn't, no lights, no tripod, just all natural shooting. Cool, no problem. I got my bag. I left all the rest of the gear in the truck at a distance too, right? I had to park it at a different location. All right, so here we go. I'm shooting, and all of a sudden, my camera kept going black. And so I play it off real smooth. I'm talking to him, asking him to fix his clothes or doing something. I'm trying to disarm him to make him comfortable, and I'm going through my setting trying to figure out what's going on. Come to find out, my battery grip had gotten loose. And so every time I would literally turn the camera sideways, it would drop a little bit and the battery would come out. Yeah, could you imagine? But if I did not know my gear inside and out, all right, for all my tech pros out there, I know that was a very amateur move, but if you are A7 anything, A7S, A7 IV, A7 V, whatever you shoot, you go from video and taking your camera and literally taking pictures to putting it inside of a rig, inside of a cage, right? So it was my fault. But I know my gear inside and out. So, and this is big. This is something that I've been chewing on for a while. This is a quote that I hold dear. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. Yep, I know. Let me rephrase it. One does not rise to the occasion. You fall back on your training, which leads to number five. Number five, and then we're out of here. This one is big for me in this year because I really want to make sure that I do this well and this become a staple in how I move. Number five, under promise and over deliver. You're not just in the AV business. I promise you, you're not just a tech. You're not just volunteering and within the church media world, right? You're in the experience business, showing up early, delivering ahead of deadline, right? And going the extra mile builds a reputation that gear could never do. I want to stress this: showing up early, delivering ahead of deadline, and going the extra mile builds a reputation that your gear could never. Surprise your clients in a good way. But see, that's how you get rebooked. That's how you get referred. And the most important one, that's how you become respected. If I am a tech leader, if I am a media director, or if I have something going on, if I can rely on you, if I know that when I call you that you'll be there early, right? If I ask for two, you always. I have this one particular. One of my mentors will call me every once in a while and say, "Hey, Demetrice, can you send me an estimate for? I just need one camera, and I want to live stream it to X, Y, and Z." I know for a fact every time he called me, he asked for one camera and X, Y, and Z. I always bring two to three. Why? Because he is one of my mentors, right? And if I make him look good, it just trickles down to me, right? So here's the kicker. None of these tips are just about gear. They're all about you, your habits, your discipline, your mindset. You can't scale chaos, but you can scale systems. Every successful professional you admire, they're not chasing gear, they're mastering execution. I once read this and it really stuck with me. It says the difference between an amateur and a professional. An amateur will train to become better, but a professional will train until they can't fail. I mean, it's like muscle memory. If you put it in my hands, I'm going to do the exact same thing over. If you put the ball in Steph Curry's hands, we know exactly what's going to happen. All right. Do me a favor. Think back on your last project. I want you just for a moment. Did you plan thoroughly? Did you adapt to the client's needs? Did you lean on your knowledge, or did you just wing it? And trust me, I've done that a lot in my 15, 20 years of doing this, right? And let's be honest, it comes with being creative, right? A friend of mine, he once called me the pivot king. Like, Demetrius, you pivot so well. And I'm like, hey, because in this particular industry, you can't be so rigid. The rigid individuals are the individuals that die out and burn out prematurely. So because of these five particular steps, I should say, or areas, I should say, the goal of this particular podcast is of this episode, I should say, I wanted you to stop just surviving the gig and instead start leading them. Trust me, I've survived many a gig. Couldn't wait till it was over. And when it was over, two things happened. You ready for it? I had a list of what not to do and a list of what to have in case it happens again, right? So before you swipe that credit card on another lens, do me a favor, zoom out. Get your processes tight. you can always sharpen your planning skills. It's one of those moments to where the books that you touch and you reach isn't it just about mastering lighting or mastering the latest ATEM that just came out. That's cool. That's cool. But it's always good to reach for a book that will help you plan better. Because the greatest tech or the greatest equipment that you can ever take to your next gig is your mindset. Success doesn't come from what you own. It comes from how you operate. All right. So if this episode has helped you at all, if this gave you a aha moment, or as they say from Coming to America, ha ha, if you have that aha moment, do me a favor, share it with someone who you know is ready to go from average to elite. And to remember, if you could, most people chase the spotlight, but real power, real influence, that comes from controlling it. And if you haven't figured it out yet, episode 2, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. Here you go. You are that light. Until next time, do me a favor, keep building, keep learning, and catch you on the next one.